As a product marketer, one of my biggest pains is having to be generative all the time, creating net new messaging, positioning, competitive intel, new slide decks for sales enablement. I have to constantly be on, and it's very cognitively demanding.
Yeah, I think AI has a lot of promise for marketing, especially in helping you getting over that writer's block, give you some ideas that you can then base your creative thinking on. So today we're talking to Ralf Von Sosen. He has decades of experience in marketing, and he's going to show us how he uses various AI tools to speed up content creation and product marketing.
Let's take a look.
Ralf Von Sosen, originally from Austria, and I got into tech in the late 90s. I was the first marketing person on the Sales Navigator product at LinkedIn. Since then, it's always been fairly small companies. So I started doing work with different companies. And then this is when I found Anyword. And one of the tools around Anyword that I loved was the product page builder. They have this feature that helps you create a product landing page. And in the product landing page, it essentially gives you a brief. Then it allows you to enter your text in here, like your product details. And what I found was that I could take the text off the website or descriptions and be pretty free with that, enter some features in here and then the CTA. It'll suggest different types of audiences to go after. And then it actually from there then creates what is your landing page headline, landing page subheader, a general prompt about the description. Then it gives you your landing page features section, title and features, the benefits section, title and the benefit descriptions, and call to action. And I just found it was just super helpful in terms of then using that to give me ideas and change and, okay, like where do I go from there? And another great feature that they have is this thing called Boost Performance. So if I just hit Be Creative, it then goes in and it creates a couple of different versions of that. And I think what I found with that that's similar to a lot of tools is that it really helps me boost my creativity and think about words. And it's not necessarily that I copy and paste things from here into the final product, but this gets me 80% of the way there, right? And I think that's actually a pretty good rule that I found with AI tools is an 80-20 rule. They kind of do 80% of the lifting for you, and then you can do the 20% of the lifting, but that 20% is kind of the 80% of the your tweak, your nuance, your putting some unique spin on it, right?
So, in this case, would you say it also makes your job maybe a little bit more easier to start, like lowers the activation energy because you have to be responsive rather than generative?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's a little bit like I don't have to get my courage up to jump in the pool. Like I'm already swimming in the pool, and
Yeah.
then I can just adjust from there because it kind of gets me going, and I can be like, well, this sounds right. I like this. This definitely doesn't sound right. I'm going to go a different path. Right?
Yeah, it definitely helps remove the writer's block, like procrastination.
So the thing that I like about this versus ChatGPT was that it does give me more continuity in what I'm doing. It organizes it for me, right? This is the headline, this is the main topic, these are the benefits, this and that. So it provides me a structure that I can then use to refine my results. Versus with ChatGPT, it's a little bit more like you have to think more in prompt engineering terms,
Yeah.
right? And it's a little harder to find your thread, right?
So definitely more marketing friendly UI, easier to continue on the same thread.
One thing I've done is I've taken this and I've copied this into a document, and then I import that into Descript. So Descript is a video creation tool that allows you to record videos, but it also lets you just go ahead and paste in, type in text, and then you can read it, or you can just have an AI voice that reads it. And what I did was I recorded my voice via their AI recorder. And now the way I edit this is I edit it purely based on the scenes, which are based on the text. So rather than me playing around so much down here in that timeline, in here, I can really do everything just based on what's in this scene and with the words. And I can change the words And we all know how big of a pain it is when you're re-recording things. You're like, oh, I got to take the out. I got to take this out. This actually has features where you can remove filler words, for example. So if you're recording a podcast, it'll go in and just find all the ums, all the hums, all the all this and that, and just remove them. And I use it in two ways. One, I use it as the finished product for videos that need to be good. They don't need to be great or something. Because I do have a person that helps with videos, that helps me kind of do finished work. But what I found is that going in and using this tool is actually as much or less work than me writing the creative brief to then give to the video person for them to do the video.
Yeah, the
Right?
communication cost is quite high.
So then when I pick a video for here, I just click on it and it auto adjusts the length of it, right, to the scene. It does the heavy lifting for me, so I don't have to switch gears to be like, now I'm in video editor mode, right? I can kind of stay in my more creative marketing mode the whole time. And I think that's one of the things that we need to start thinking about very differently is the velocity in being able to adapt and change things, right? So it's not like, hey, we've got this video and that's the video we're going with for the next 6 months. That's boom, I think we need to start thinking a lot more about, hey, this is the video we're going to see, we're going to get feedback on it, we're going to improve it and get better or change the message in it, right? Before it used to be that you could create videos that way, but the videos didn't meet, I would say, the MVP standard, right? They were like, okay, this is a crappy thing. Now these aren't maybe here, but they're here. And here is good enough, and maybe in some respects actually better because it seems more genuine.
Yeah.
Than the super polished videos, especially for smaller companies and so forth. And you can create and rev these fairly quickly.
So do you find yourself being able to output a significantly larger amount of content now that you're using this workflow?
Yeah. Now, which actually brings me to why I started MySideCar AI. It's so easy to create content now than it was, right? And what's happening with that is, one, there's wonderful people creating a lot of content, but getting farther and farther off brand and off message, just naturally. Secondly, it's getting more challenging to sort of unify people on a tool where they have a common source of truth of what the messaging should be, to kind of bring it back to that, because if you're iterating these things faster, then your product marketing platform and message and stuff should also adjust and iterate with it. But that's a pretty heavy lift. So with my sidecar, what we did was we kind of said, okay, if I want to create this product marketing guide, can't we just have somebody come in and answer these questions and then create a guide like that? And this is the report that I get out this is for Open Enterprise AI. And this is basically, I answered 13 questions around like, who's my persona, who are my pain points, top features I want, and so forth, right? And from this, I got a 20-page report that includes a company description, pain points with their benefits. What we found is people are very, very surprised by the quality of the information that they get from this. Everything you see here is literally generated by the AI. It's about getting you to the level where you can do the fun work rather than you being in the sort of like soup of what words should I use here. And so we do the same thing then for, say, the buyer profile. Give me the common pain points, give me the triggers for a new product and service. What's their role in the buying process? We look at competitors. The piece de resistance in this whole thing is the marketing initiatives. We just give it a prompt that says, based on everything that you've learned about this company, create a 90-second intro video script. It just gives you the exact script. I can just take this, copy and paste it into Descript and then just add the things. Now, am I doing them at a level where, a specialized team that's focused on one product with 10 people in marketing at salesforce.com would create something? Probably not. but we're creating something that for a small team can make them so much more effective and efficient, right? Give me a 5-slide sales pitch deck based on the challenger sale model.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now you can
Right?
just copy and paste into Gamma and it can turn it.
Right.
Give you the actual
Right.
slide.
Yeah, paste this into beautiful AI or something, right? Versus the right thing to do is take this and go sit down with the sales team and be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? You can go come to the table with something rather than the meeting that we've all had, right? It's like, all right, we're looking at a blank screen or a blank whiteboard, and what do you guys think about the new sales pitch? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? Right. Also, ideas for email campaigns. Give me 10 thought-provoking blog posts that would be relevant for me. What events would be interesting to me? Who are the top influencers I should be following and working with, and commenting on? This is what we need to create that report for you. If you give me this information, I will give you the report that I just showed you.
And the report is like 30 pages.
Like 20 pages. I think the revolution part here is not that this is a set and forget or you throw it in here and then you copy and paste, but this gets you 80% of the way there to kind of knowing what you don't know by focusing your energy on what's really going to add the value that you have, right? The fun work that you can do.
Yeah, so that 20-page document becomes your foundation upon which you can build all the other pieces. And then you can give it to AI tools, you can give it to digital team, content teams, etc. And then you can make sure everything stays on message.
Right.
I could see that really replacing some of the very junior product marketing work, very similar to how Copilot is able to replace some very junior dev work. And then now it's more of using your judgment, higher level reasoning to think about, well, okay, this is a great start. What else can we do to really, align and highlight our differentiation around these top 3 to 5 competitors?
I think that's where we're going to see the difference between the individuals that do really well in this next age of marketing versus the individuals that maybe aren't able to compete. What this allows you to do is allows you to actually do what you're paid to do, which is to exercise judgment. Right? I don't think that as marketing leaders, we're really, at the end of the day, paid to, create a logo or create this. Or a lot of what we need to do, and especially in product marketing, is make decisions about, should we do this? Should we do that? What's the marginal cost? What's the marginal benefit of doing some of these things? And I think this allows us to be more of a business partner. So rather than sitting at your desk typing stuff, you can be out creating business, building relationships.
Absolutely. And it brings you up to also take a step back, maybe take a walk in the woods, come back with fresh ideas that you wouldn't otherwise think of if you were staying at your desk for 8 hours straight, typing up very fundamental core messaging.
I think there's a lot of value in just having time to get out there, whether it's talking to sales, talking to customers, taking a break, just gives you fresh ideas. So is there any other workflow you wanted to show?
Now, one thing I did find, I was able to use ChatGPT pretty effectively to help me try and find different color palettes. I got these colors through ChatGPT, I think in another one, and then I just asked it to create a brand guide on it. And then I create the visual samples to the brand. I thought this was fantastic. This was just great. And it's so helpful working with founders to be like, hey, give me a reaction to this versus give me a reaction to this. Mm-hmm. Because it sort of gives you a nice picture,
Absolutely. Without having to do the mock-ups yourself.
This would have taken me pleading the designer and then briefing them and taking two weeks to generate.
Right.
You can just get customer feedback a lot faster. Is this, on a scale of 1 to 10, close to what you're envisioning, or more like this other concept?
I do feel like the demand and need for a very well-rounded, experienced marketer is going to go up tremendously over the next few years because these tools actually enable somebody to do something hands-on a lot easier, right? Versus being in a situation where you have a camp of 7 contractor specialists, right?
Yes.
right? I've got my SEO guy, I've got my pay-per-click guy, I've got my video guy, I've got my content writer guy. It's not about eliminating those positions, but I think it's how do you elevate those positions, right?
And in addition to that, I would say it also maybe levels the playing field more for, especially with a smaller company where you might be a
Yeah.
one-person marketing shop or maybe a five-person marketing team. Now you can augment that a lot more without having to rely on as many contractors, or maybe you can just run faster.
Do you think AI will replace your job?
No, I think it'll make my job more important and make me better at my job.
What advice do you have for people in marketing who want to prepare themselves for the age of AI and don't want to be replaced?
Learn the business. Learn why your company exists. Learn what your product does for the customer, why customers love you, and how you help the company make money.
Ralph, thanks for sharing your workflow with us, and we're really excited to get this one out to our audiences.
Great.